She had 3 seconds to decide. Write the note and save a killer's life, or stay silent and keep hers. This is the moment a broke Nigerian waitress became the obsession of Atlanta's most dangerous Korean Mafia boss. 3 seconds. That's all she had. 3 months working in the shadows. $32,000 in nursing school debt. 300 square feet she called home. And one man who made rooms go silent. She watched the manager move behind the bar. The way he glanced at the cameras. The nod to someone she couldn't see. And she knew. Poison. 3 seconds to decide. Risk everything for a stranger, or look away and stay invisible. She chose wrong. You just saved my life. You are mine now. She thought she was saving a life. She didn't know she was claiming a monster. Before we go deeper into how that one note drags her into a war she never asked for, pause for 2 seconds. Tell me where you're watching from and subscribe to Afro Korean Veil for more stories where love is the most dangerous decision. The crystal tumbler caught the amber light as Lee Min-jun reached for it, his movements precise and controlled like everything else in his world. Maya Brooks watched from across the dimly lit private room of the Azure Lounge in downtown Atlanta, her fingers trembling slightly as she balanced a tray of premium liquor. 3 months, 1 week, and 2 days she had worked in this underground establishment, serving men in expensive suits who spoke in hushed tones about things she pretended not to hear. Her nursing school debt sat like a boulder on her chest. $32,000 that grew heavier with each passing month, while her studio apartment rent of $1,300 consumed what little she earned. But tonight felt different. Tonight the air hummed with a tension she could taste on her tongue. Lee Min-jun was not like the other patrons. When he entered a room, conversations died mid-sentence. His presence commanded attention without demanding it, the dragon tattoo curling up his neck from beneath his tailored collar like a warning written in ink and flesh. Maya had heard whispers about him, fragments of sentences that painted a picture of power and danger in equal measure. Korean-American, 32 years old, and the inheritor of an empire built on shadows and fear. She had noticed Derek, the lounge manager, preparing Lee Min-jun's usual whiskey himself tonight. That alone set off alarm bells in her mind. Derek never prepared drinks personally. She watched him move behind the bar, his back turned to the security cameras, and something in the deliberate way he handled the bottle made her stomach clench. The slight pause before he poured, the glance over his shoulder, the almost imperceptible nod to someone Maya could not see. Her heart hammered against her ribs as understanding crashed over her. Poison. It had to be poison. Every rational thought screamed at her to look away, to mind her own business, to remember that she was just a waitress trying to survive in a world that had already beaten her down too many times. But her hands moved before her mind could stop them, grabbing a napkin and pen from her apron. The words she scrawled were simple, desperate. Don't drink this. Leave now. The walk across that room felt like crossing a minefield. Each step brought her closer to a man who could end her life with a gesture, carrying a warning that could end it just as surely if the wrong person noticed. But Maya had spent her entire life watching people die slow deaths from poverty, neglect, and hopelessness. If she could prevent one death, even the death of a dangerous man, maybe her existence meant something. She placed a glass on the table before Lee Min-jun, her hand sliding the napkin beneath it with subtlety born of desperation. Their eyes met for just a fraction of a second. His were dark, unreadable, ancient in a young face. Then she turned and walked away, her legs threatening to buckle with every step. Maya. His voice stopped her cold. Deep, accented, absolute. Come here. The room went silent. Even the jazz music filtering through the speakers seemed to hold its breath. Maya turned slowly, certain she was about to die for her interference. But Lee Min-jun was not looking at her. He was looking at the glass, at the napkin, his expression carved from stone. Then he lifted the tumbler and poured its contents into the decorative plant beside his booth, the amber liquid disappearing into dark soil. You just saved my life, he said, still not looking at her. Do you understand what that means? Maya's voice came out smaller than she intended. I saw something wrong. I couldn't just... It means you are mine now. His eyes finally met hers, and the intensity in them stole the air from her lungs. Mine to protect. Mine to keep safe. Mine. Before she could process his words, He reached into his jacket and pulled out a stack of bills that made her vision blur. $15,000, crisp and clean, placed on the table like it was nothing. Take it, and take this. A black business card followed, embossed with a single phone number. When you need me, and you'll need me, you call. I will come. The rest of her shift passed in a haze. Maya could feel eyes on her from every corner of the lounge, could sense the shift in atmosphere like ozone before a lightning strike. Derek's face had gone pale when he saw Lee Min-jun still alive, still breathing, still watching Maya with that possessive intensity that made her skin prickle with fear and something else she refused to name. Her hands shook as she changed out her uniform in the cramped employee bathroom, stuffing the money deep into her purse like stolen goods. When she emerged, Derek was waiting, his expression twisted with barely contained rage. "You're fired," he said, his voice low and venomous. "Effective immediately. Get out." "What? Why? I didn't do anything." "You did everything." He stepped closer, and Maya could smell the fear on him, acrid and desperate. "You think I don't know? You think he doesn't know? Get out before you make this worse for both of us." The Atlanta night wrapped around Maya like a shroud as she stumbled onto the street, her entire world crashing down around her ears. No job meant no rent. No rent meant no apartment. No apartment meant her phone buzzed in her pocket. A single text from an unknown number. "I'm waiting for you outside. Don't be afraid." And there he was, leaning against a black Mercedes that probably cost more than she would earn in 5 years, his dragon tattoo visible in the streetlight, his eyes tracking her every movement like a predator watching prey. Lee Min-jun, the man she had saved, the man who now claimed she belonged to him, waiting in the darkness like a promise and a threat rolled into one impossibly dangerous package. Maya's fingers closed around the business card in her pocket, and she realized with crystal clarity that her life had just divided into before and after. Before she saved the killer. After she became his. Maya's apartment building looked even more depressing than usual as she climbed the 4 flights of stairs, her legs heavy with exhaustion and fear. The hallway smelled of mildew and something she preferred not to identify, fluorescent lights flickering overhead like dying fireflies. She had not called Lee Min-jun. She had not used that business card burning a hole in her pocket. Instead, she had walked 6 blocks in the opposite direction before doubling back, some primitive instinct telling her that accepting his help would change everything irreversibly. But 3 days later, with her rent due and her bank account showing a balance that made her want to cry, Maya found herself staring at that black card like it held the answers to questions she was afraid to ask. The $15,000 sat untouched in an envelope under her mattress. Blood money, she told herself. Dangerous money. Money that came with strings attached to a man who dealt in violence and control. The eviction notice taped to her door made the decision for her. Her hands trembled as she dialed a number, each ring feeling like a countdown to something she could not take back. He answered on the second ring. "I wondered how long you would wait," Lee Min-jun said, his voice carrying that same controlled intensity that made her stomach flip. "Where are you?" "Home. My apartment. But they're evicting me and I lost my job and I don't know what to... Address. Now." She gave it to him, hating how small her voice sounded, how desperate. "I can pay you back. The money you gave me, I can... You saved my life, Maya. That debt does not get repaid with money." Something in his tone shifted, darkened. "I will be there in 15 minutes. Pack what matters. You're not staying in that place another night." "Wait, I can't just..." But the line was already dead. Maya stared at her tiny studio apartment, at the life she had built from scraps and determination. Her nursing textbook stacked on the milk crate she used as a nightstand. The photograph of her mother, dead 3 years now from a diabetes she could not afford to treat properly. The dream she had wrapped around herself like armor against a world determined to crush her. 14 minutes later, a knock at her door made her jump. Lee Min-jun stood in her doorway looking impossibly out of place, his tailored suit and polished shoes a stark contrast to the peeling paint and stained carpet. Behind him stood another man, older, scarred, watching the hallway with the alertness of a trained guard. "This is Kai, my driver and head of security," Lee Min-jun said, his eyes scanning her apartment with an expression she could not read. "He will help you pack. We need to move quickly. I don't understand. Where am I going? Lee Min-jun stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, expensive and subtle. Somewhere safe. Derek was not working alone when he tried to poison me. The people who wanted me dead now know you interfered. They know your face, your name, where you work. Did you think they would just forget? The blood drained from Maya's face. Oh, God. I didn't think. No, you did not think. You reacted with courage and compassion. Two qualities that will get you killed in my world. His hand came up, fingers gently tilting her chin so she had to meet his eyes. But you are my world now, whether you want to be or not, and I protect what is mine. I'm not yours, Maya whispered, but the words held no conviction. You became mine the moment you chose my life over your safety. His thumb traced her jawline, and she hated how her body responded to that simple touch, heat flooding through her despite every logical reason to pull away. Now, let Kai help you pack, or I will carry you out of here with nothing but the clothes on your back. Your choice. 20 minutes later, Maya sat in the back of the Mercedes, her life reduced to 2 suitcases and a cardboard box, watching her apartment building disappear in the side mirror. Lee Min-jun sat beside her, close enough that their shoulders touched with every turn, his presence overwhelming in confined space. Where are we going? She asked again. My penthouse. Buckhead. Top floor, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, security system that costs more than most people's cars. He glanced at her, something almost soft in his expression. You will have your own room, your own space. I am not a monster. Maya, I do not take what is not freely given. But you said I was yours. You are mine to protect, mine to keep safe. That does not mean mine to use. His hand found hers in the darkness, fingers intertwining in a gesture that felt more intimate than it should. It means I will kill anyone who tries to hurt you. It means your enemies are now my enemies. It means I will move heaven and earth to make sure you survive the mess I drag you into. I drag myself into it, Maya said quietly. I could have looked away. But you did not. That is why you matter. The penthouse took her breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Atlanta's glittering skyline, furniture that looked like it belonged in a museum, art on the walls that probably cost more than her nursing school debt. Everything was sleek, modern, beautiful in a cold way that spoke of money and taste, but not necessarily warmth. The second bedroom on the right is yours, Lee Min-jun said, shrugging off his jacket to reveal the dragon tattoo in full glory, scales and claws winding around his shoulder and down his arm in intricate detail. Bathroom is fully stocked. If you need anything at all, you tell me. Kai will be in the building tonight. Tomorrow we discuss long-term security. Maya stood in the middle of the living room feeling utterly out of place, a dandelion in a garden of roses. I don't belong here. You belong wherever I say you belong. Lee Min-jun moved closer, his voice dropping to something almost gentle. I know you are afraid. I know this is not the life you wanted. But I swear to you, Maya Brooks, I will keep you alive, no matter what it costs me. Why? The question burst from her lips before she could stop it. Why do you care? You don't even know me. For a long moment, he just looked at her, something ancient and wounded moving behind his eyes. Because for the first time in 10 years, since my father died and left me this empire of blood and lies, someone looked at me and saw a human being worth saving instead of a monster worth using. You risked everything for a stranger because it was a right thing to do. That kind of goodness is rare in my world, Maya, maybe in any world. And I will burn this city to the ground before I let it be extinguished. Before she could respond, before she could process the raw honesty in his words, the penthouse windows exploded inward in a shower of glass and gunfire, and Maya's scream was allowed by the sound of Lee Min-jun throwing her to the floor, his body covering hers as bullets tore through the space where they had been standing just seconds before. Stay down, he growled against her ear, and then he was moving. Fast and lethal, a gun appearing in his hand from somewhere she had not seen, returning fire with precision that spoke of years of practice, and Maya realized with terrible clarity that the man protecting her was every bit as dangerous as the men trying to kill them. The gunfire lasted less than 2 minutes, but to Maya it felt like hours. She pressed herself against the marble floor, hands covering her head. The sound of bullets and breaking glass creating a symphony of violence that would haunt her dreams for years to come. Lee Min-jun moved through the chaos like a dancer, each shot calculated, each movement efficient. His face transformed into something cold and merciless that bore no resemblance to the man who had spoken to her with such intensity moments before. When silence finally fell, broken only by the ringing in her ears and her own ragged breathing, Maya dared to lift her head. 3 bodies lay near the shattered windows, their blood spreading across the pristine white floor in dark pools that reflected the city lights. Lee Min-jun stood over them, chest heaving, the gun still raised, his dragon tattoo seeming to writhe in the shadows. "Are you hurt?" His voice cut through her shock, sharp and demanding. "Maya, look at me. Are you hurt?" She shook her head mutely, unable to form words, unable to process what had just happened. Lee Min-jun was beside her in an instant, hands running over her arms, her shoulders, checking for injuries with thoroughness that spoke of experience. Finding none, he pulled her roughly against his chest, and she could feel his heart hammering as hard as her own. "Kai!" He barked into a phone that had appeared in his hand. "3rd floor penthouse. 3 hostiles down, primary is secure. Get teams to sweep the building and lock down all access points. Now!" Primary? He meant her. She was the primary. "I need you to listen to me very carefully," Lee Min-jun said, pulling back to look at her, his hands gripping her shoulders hard enough to bruise. "This was just the first attempt. They will come again, harder, smarter. The people who want me dead will not stop until either I am in the ground or they are. Do you understand?" "Who are they?" Maya's voice came out hoarse, broken. "Who wants you dead badly enough to do this?" Lee Min-jun's expression darkened, something like pain flashing across his features before the mask slammed back into place. "My half-brother, Dante Hun, same father, different mothers, and a lifetime of resentment between us. When our father died, he left everything to me, the businesses, the territory, the power. Dante has spent the last 5 years trying to take it all back, convinced I stole his birthright. Did you? I earned it. There's a difference." He stood, pulling her up with him, his grip never loosening. "My father was not a good man. Maya, he built this empire on blood and fear and the broken backs of everyone who opposed him. But he taught me something important. Power is not inherited. It is taken and held by whoever is strong enough to keep it. Dante was weak, emotional, reckless. Our father saw that. So he gave everything to me and nothing to his firstborn son. That's why he wants you dead. That is why he will never stop coming." Lee Min-jun led her away from the carnage, through the penthouse to a room she had not seen before, windowless and reinforced, a safe room hidden behind a bookshelf. "That is why keeping you safe means accepting that your life will never be normal again. Not as long as you are connected to me." Maya sank onto the leather couch in the safe room, her legs finally giving out, adrenaline crash hitting her like a tidal wave. "Maybe I should just leave. Disappear. If I'm not around you, maybe he'll. He knows your face now. He knows you saved me. He will use you to hurt me whether you stay or go." Lee Min-jun knelt before her, forcing her to meet his eyes. "Your only chance of survival is to let me protect you. Completely. Absolutely. No running. No hiding. No trying to handle this yourself. Can you do that? I don't know if I can trust you." The words hung between them, brutal in their honesty. Lee Min-jun's jaw tightened, and for a moment she thought she had gone too far. But then he did something unexpected. He took her hand and pressed it against his chest, over his heart, over the dragon tattoo that marked him as something other than human. "I have killed 23 people in my life," he said quietly, his eyes never leaving hers. 19 of them deserved it. 3 were mistakes I will carry to my grave. One was my father's killer, a man who thought he could take the empire by removing the king. I was 22 years old, and I beat him to death with my bare hands in front of 50 witnesses to prove I was strong enough to wear my father's crown. Maya's breath caught, horror and fascination warring in her chest. "I am telling you this so you understand exactly who I am. I am not a good man. I do terrible things to maintain power in a terrible world. But I have never, not once, betrayed someone who trusted me. I have never broken a promise I made. And I am promising you now, Maya Brooks, that I will keep you alive or die trying. That is not a pretty promise. It is not a kind promise, but it is an honest one. Before Maya could respond, Kai burst through the safe room door, his face grim. We have a problem. The security footage shows the shooters had inside help. Someone disabled the cameras on the 3rd and 4th floors 20 minutes before the attack. Someone who knew the system. Lee Min-jun was on his feet instantly, his entire body going rigid with fury. Who? We are still checking, but it had to be someone with access to the main security panel. That is a very short list. Lock down everyone on that list. No one leaves the building, no one makes calls, no one breathes without my permission. Lee Min-jun turned back to Maya, and she could see the predator behind his eyes now, the killer he had tried to explain. I need to handle this. Kai will stay with you. Do not leave this room for any reason. Do not open the door for anyone except me. If something happens, if you hear anything wrong, there is a panic button on the wall that will alert every security team I have within 5 miles. Use it. Wait. Maya stood, moving toward him on instinct, and she did not know what possessed her to reach out and touch his face, to let her fingers trace the line of his jaw. Don't get yourself killed trying to figure out who betrayed you. Something shifted in his expression, softening for just a moment. Worried about me? You're the only thing standing between me and a bullet. Of course I'm worried. His hand covered hers, warm and solid. I will come back to you. That is a promise. Then he was gone, disappearing into the chaos beyond the safe room door, and Maya was left alone with Kai and the terrible understanding that she had somehow become the thing a monster valued above his own safety. The hours that followed moved like molasses. Kai stood by the door, silent and watchful, his hand never far from the gun at his hip. Maya sat on the couch, replaying the night's events in her mind, unable to reconcile the man who had spoken to her so gently with the man who had killed 3 people without hesitation. Unable to reconcile her fear with the strange pull she felt toward him, the magnetic attraction to his darkness that both terrified and thrilled her. When Lee Min-jun finally returned, dawn was breaking over Atlanta, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold that seemed obscene after the violence of the night. He looked exhausted, blood on his shirt, a cut above his eyebrow that had scabbed over, but alive. Alive and looking at her, like she was the only thing that mattered in his entire violent world. It was Jacob, my head of IT security. He sold us out for $200,000 and the promise of safe passage out of country. Lee Min-jun's voice was flat, emotionless. He is no longer concerned. Maya did not ask what that meant. She did not want to know. Dante sent a message through one of the shooters before he died. He said this was just a warning that the real attack is coming, and he will not stop until he has taken everything from me. Lee Min-jun moved closer, and Maya could smell copper and gunpowder on him, the scent of death and determination. He said he would make me watch you die before he killed me. He said it would be poetic, destroying me with the same compassion that makes me weak. I'm sorry. The words felt inadequate, useless. I'm sorry I brought this on you. You brought nothing on me. This war with Dante has been coming for years. You just gave him a new weapon to use against me. His hands cupped her face, thumbs brushing away tears. She had not realized she was crying. But he made a miscalculation. He thinks you are my weakness. He does not understand that you're the reason I will fight harder, kill faster, burn his world to ash. He does not understand that love is not weakness. It is the most dangerous weapon of all. Maya's breath stopped. Love? We barely know each other. I know you risked everything to save a stranger. I know you are brave and stubborn and too good for the darkness I live in. I know that when those bullets started flying, my only thought was keeping you alive, even if it meant taking every bullet myself. Maybe that is not love yet. Maybe it is just obsession. But it is growing into something that terrifies me more than any enemy ever could. His lips found hers then, hungry and desperate, and Maya kissed him back with ferocity that shocked her, tasting blood and need and the promise of destruction on his tongue, and she realized with dawning horror that she was falling for a killer, falling into darkness, falling into a love that would probably destroy them both. 3 days passed in Lee Min-jun's penthouse, like living in a beautiful cage. Maya spent her mornings exploring the space, her afternoons reading the nursing textbooks Lee Min-jun had somehow procured for her, her evenings watching the man who claimed to own her navigate the dangerous world he inhabited. He took calls in different languages, Korean and Mandarin flowing from his lips with the same ease as English. He met with men in expensive suits who looked at her with calculating eyes and knowing smirks. He planned and strategized and prepared for a war that was coming whether they wanted it or not. And at night, he came to her room and talked, not about the violence or the business or the blood on his hands. He talked about his childhood in Seoul, before his father moved the family to America, about his mother who died when he was 12, about the weight of expectations that had crushed him into the shape his father needed. He talked about loneliness, about the isolation of power, about watching everyone around him wear masks while he wore the biggest mask of all. Maya found herself talking, too, about her mother's slow death, about the nursing school dreams that felt further away with each passing day, about the bone-deep exhaustion of poverty, of working 3 jobs and still having nothing, of watching the world pass by from the outside looking in. They were both trapped, she realized, just in different prisons. His made of power and responsibility, hers made of debt and circumstance. On the 4th night, Maya made a decision. She found Lee Min-jun on the penthouse balcony, 30 stories above the city, smoking a cigarette and staring into the darkness. The dragon tattoo seemed alive in the moonlight, scales shifting with each breath he took. "I need to understand," she said, stepping beside him. "I need to understand how you live with what you do, how you kill people and go on like it is normal." Lee Min-jun took a long drag, exhaling smoke into the night air. "You want me to tell you I am haunted? That I see their faces in my dreams? That would be a lie. Most of the people I have killed were predators themselves, men who hurt others for profit or pleasure. Removing them from the world made it marginally better, not worse. And the 3 mistakes you mentioned," his hand tightened on the railing, "collateral damage, wrong place, wrong time, wrong information, a wife who got between me and her husband, a child who was supposed to be at school, a driver who was just doing his job. Those faces I see, those deaths I carry. How do you live with that? By making sure it never happens again. By being better, faster, more careful. By accepting that I am a monster, trying very hard not to be a demon." He turned to her, and the vulnerability in his eyes stole her breath. "You asked me once why I care about keeping you alive. The truth is, you remind me that humanity still exists somewhere in this darkness. When I look at you, I see the person I might have been if my father had not molded me into a weapon. You are my proof that goodness is real. I'm not that good, Lee Min-jun. I have darkness in me, too. Everyone has darkness. The question is what you do with it." He reached out, fingers tangling in her hair, pulling her closer until their foreheads touched. "You used yours to save a life. I used mine to take them. We are not the same. Maybe I want to be." The words tumbled out before Maya could stop them, raw and honest and terrifying. "Maybe I am tired of being the victim, the girl who gets pushed around by the world. Maybe I want to push back." Something dangerous lit in Lee Min-jun's eyes. "Careful what you wish for, Maya. That path does not lead back to the light. Maybe I do not want the light anymore. Maybe I want to understand your darkness." He kissed her then, hard and possessive, backing her against the balcony railing, and Maya let herself drown in him, in the heat and danger and the terrible knowledge that she was choosing this, choosing him, choosing to walk into the fire with eyes wide open. His hands roamed her body with a hunger that made her gasp, and when he lifted her, she wrapped her legs around his waist, surrendering to the inevitability of them. They made it as far as the living room couch before clothes started hitting the floor, before restraint shattered into need, before Maya found herself gasping his name while Atlanta glittered below them, oblivious of the destruction happening in this penthouse fortress. And when they finally lay tangled together, sweaty and breathless, Maya knew with absolute certainty that she had just crossed a line she could never uncross. "This changes things," Lee Min-jun murmured against her hair. "You are not just mine to protect anymore. You are mine in every way that matters." "I know." Maya traced the dragon scales on his shoulder, following the pattern down his arm. I am terrified. Good. Fear will keep you sharp, keep you careful. But do not let it paralyze you. In my world, hesitation is death. The sound of breaking glass made them both freeze. Not from the balcony this time, but from somewhere deeper in the penthouse. Kai's voice shouted a warning, followed by gunfire, sharp and immediate and too close. Lee Min-jun was on his feet instantly, throwing Maya her clothes, dressing himself with military efficiency. The safe room. Now! But Kai, now, Maya. His gun was in his hand, that cold mask slamming back into place, transforming him from lover to killer in a heartbeat. I will get him. You get to safety. That is not a request. But before she could move, the living room door exploded inward, and there stood a man who looked like a twisted reflection of Lee Min-jun. Same height, same build, but where Lee Min-jun had control, this man radiated chaos. His eyes were wild, manic, burning with a hatred so pure it felt tangible. Hello, little brother, Dante Han said, his gun trained not on Lee Min-jun but on Maya's chest. Looks like I interrupted something. How romantic. And how perfect. Now I get to watch you lose everything you care about, just like you took everything from me. Lee Min-jun moved a step between them, but Dante's finger tightened on the trigger. One more step, and I paint your pretty little savior all over that expensive couch. You know I will do it. I have nothing left to lose. You have your life to lose. Lee Min-jun's voice was deadly calm, but Maya could see the tension in every line of his body, the calculation in his eyes. Walk away, Dante. Take what money you need and disappear. I will not hunt you. I will let you go. This does not have to end in blood. Everything between us ends in blood. Dante's laugh was unhinged, broken. Our father's blood, our mother's blood, the blood of everyone who stood between me and what should have been mine. And now her blood, the girl stupid enough to save you, stupid enough to love you. She dies and you die, and then finally I take back what you stole. Time seemed to slow down. Maya saw Lee Min-jun's hand twitch toward his gun, saw Dante's finger begin to squeeze the trigger, saw Kai appear behind Dante, wounded but alive, his own weapon rising, saw the trajectory of bullets and bodies and death, and made a choice that would haunt her forever. She lunged at Lee Min-jun, throwing him sideways just as Dante fired. The bullet that would have hit Lee Min-jun's heart catching her instead, high on her shoulder, pain exploding through her body like liquid fire. She heard Lee Min-jun scream her name, heard the gunfire that followed, Kai's shots and Lee Min-jun's shots and Dante's returning fire, a symphony of violence that ended with Dante on the ground, gasping, bleeding, dying. Lee Min-jun was on her instantly, hands pressing against her wound, his face twisted in anguish. Why? Why did you do that? Maya, stay with me. Stay with me. Do not close your eyes. Had to, she gasped, tasting copper. Could not let you die. Not for me. You are everything, do you understand? You are everything. He was crying, this man who killed without emotion, tears streaming down his face as he applied pressure to her wound. As Kai called for the private doctor, as Maya's vision started to gray at the edges. Love you, she whispered, and then the darkness claimed her. Maya woke to white ceiling tiles and the steady beep of a heart monitor, pain radiating through her shoulder like someone had embedded hot coals beneath her skin. For a moment, she could not remember where she was or why her body felt like it had been torn apart and badly reassembled. Then memory crashed back, the gunfire, Dante's wild eyes, the split-second decision to throw herself between Lee Min-jun and death. She turned her head, and there he was. Lee Min-jun, slumped in a chair beside her bed, still wearing blood-stained clothes, his head in his hands, looking more broken than she had ever seen him. The dragon tattoo on his neck seemed faded somehow, as if the violence of the previous night had drained the color from everything. You are awake. His voice was hoarse, wrecked. Thank God you are awake. The doctor said the bullet missed everything vital, that you would recover, but you lost so much blood and you would not wake up, and I thought, his words fractured, and Maya realized with shock that his hands were trembling. I am okay, she managed, her own voice scratchy and weak. What happened? Is Dante dead? I put 3 bullets in him after he shot you. Would have put 30 if I had enough ammunition. Lee Min-jun stood, moving to her bedside, his hand finding hers with gentleness that contradicted the violence in his words. Kai is in surgery, but he will survive. The penthouse is destroyed. Half my security team is dead or injured, and none of it matters, none of it, because you almost died for me. I saved you. That matters. You should have let him shoot me. The words exploded from Lee Min-jun with raw anguish. I have lived with death hanging over my head for 10 years. I have made my peace with dying young and bloody. But you have your whole life ahead of you, dreams to chase, a future to build. You should not throw that away for a monster like me. Maya squeezed his hand with what little strength she had. Maybe I am tired of just surviving. Maybe I want to live, really live, even if it is dangerous, even if it is with you. Maya, listen to me. She pulled him closer, ignoring the pain that lanced through her shoulder. My whole life, I've been careful. I took the safe path, followed the rules, tried to build a future out of nothing. And where did it get me? Alone, exhausted, drowning in debt, serving drinks to criminals in a basement lounge. The moment I saved was the first time I felt truly alive in years. The first time I made a choice that mattered. That choice almost killed you. But it did not. I am still here. We are still here. She touched his face, tracing the lines of exhaustion and worry. I love you, Lee Min-jun. I know it is fast and insane, and probably a trauma response. But I love you, and I would make the same choice again in a heartbeat. He kissed her then, desperately, like she was air and he was drowning, and when he pulled back, his eyes were bright with unshed tears. I love you too. God help me. I love you more than power, more than empire, more than the life I built. You terrify me, Maya Brooks. You make me want to be better than I am, to deserve the faith you have in me. And I do not know if I can be that person. Then we learned together. The door to the private medical room opened, and a woman Maya did not recognize entered. She was older, maybe 50, with sharp eyes and the bearing of someone used to command. Behind her came 2 men in suits that screamed federal agents. Lee Min-jun, the woman said, her voice carrying authority that made even Lee Min-jun straighten. I am Detective Sarah Park, Atlanta PD. We need to talk about what happened last night. Multiple homicides, destruction property, evidence of gang warfare in a civilian building. This is not something that just goes away. Lee Min-jun's expression shuddered, that cold mask sliding back into place. I have lawyers, detective. Very expensive ones. Unless you are here to arrest me, we have nothing to discuss. Oh, I am not here to arrest you. Not today, anyway. Detective Park's smile was thin and sharp. I am here to offer you a deal. Information on Dante Hun's organization in exchange for immunity for you and your people, including your girlfriend who threw herself in front of a bullet like some kind of action movie hero. I am not a snitch. No, you are a pragmatist. Dante is dead, but his network is not. His lieutenants, his suppliers, his connections in city government. They are all scrambling right now. Try and figure out who takes over. You help us clean house. Give us the information we need to dismantle the entire operation. And you get to walk away. Fresh start. Clean slate. Lee Min-jun looked at Maya, something vulnerable in his eyes. What do you think? I think, Maya said carefully, that you are tired of living in darkness. I think you want a way out, but you do not know how to take it. Without looking weak, this is your chance. It is also a betrayal of everything my father built. Your father is dead, Lee Min-jun, and maybe what he built needed to die with him. The silence stretched between them, heavy with the weight of decision. Finally, Lee Min-jun turned back to Detective Park. I want the deal in writing. Full immunity for me, Maya, Kai, and everyone on my security team. Protection for Maya if any of Dante's people come after her. New identities if we need them. And I want assurances that the information I provide will actually be used, not buried by corrupt officials. Done. My office, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Bring your lawyers. Detective Park headed for the door, then paused. For what it is worth, Lee Min-jun, I have been watching you for 3 years. You are not like the others. You have lines you do not cross, rules you follow. That counts for something in my book. Maybe you do deserve that fresh start. When she was gone, Lee Min-jun sank back into the chair, looking suddenly exhausted beyond measure. I just agreed to destroy my father's legacy. Everything he built, everything he taught me to protect. He would consider this the ultimate betrayal. Your father made you into a killer before you were old enough to choose differently. Maybe betraying him is the first real choice you have made in your adult life. Maya reached for his hand again, holding tight. Maybe this is how you start becoming the person you actually want to be. And who is that? Someone who does not have to kill to prove he matters. Someone who can build instead of destroy. Someone who gets to love a woman without worrying she will be used as a weapon against him. Lee Min-jun lifted her hand to his lips, kissing her knuckles with reverence. You make it sound possible, like I could actually walk away from this life. You can. We can. Together. But even as she said the words, Maya felt the weight of doubt settle in her chest. Men like Lee Min-jun did not simply walk away from empires of blood and power. The world he inhabited did not let people go easily. And somewhere in the shadows of Atlanta, Dante's people were regrouping, planning revenge, preparing to make Lee Min-jun pay for his betrayal of their fallen leader. The war might be over, but the battle for their survival was just beginning, and Maya had no idea if love would be enough to carry them through the darkness that was coming. The meeting with Detective Park's task force took 6 hours, Lee Min-jun speaking in a flat, emotionless voice as he systematically dismantled the criminal network his father had spent 3 decades building. Maya sat beside him, her arm in a sling, watching the man she loved betray everything he had known in exchange for a chance of freedom. She saw the cost in his eyes, in the tightness around his mouth, in the way his hands clenched and unclenched under the table as he gave up names, locations, illegal businesses, evidence that would put dozens of people in prison for the rest of their lives. It was finally over, when the lawyers had reviewed every document and Lee Min-jun had signed away his empire. They walked out of the police station into bright Atlanta sunshine that felt like mockery after the darkness they had just navigated. Kai waited by the car, his arm in a sling matching Maya's, his face carefully neutral. It is done, Lee Min-jun said quietly. Everything my father built, everything I maintained, gone. We are ghosts now. The lawyers will handle liquidating the legitimate assets. The rest belongs to the federal government. By this time tomorrow, Lee Min-jun will no longer exist in the criminal world. What do we do now? Maya asked. We disappear. New city, new names, new lives. The task force is offering witness protection, but I declined. Too many rules, too much oversight. I have money they do not know about, resources outside the country. We can go anywhere, be anyone. Anywhere. You have always wanted to finish nursing school. Where would you want to do that? Maya thought about it, about leaving Atlanta and the poverty and the ghosts of her past life behind. Seattle. I have never seen the ocean, and Seattle has good nursing programs. Then Seattle it is. Lee Min-jun pulled her close, careful of her injury, his face buried in her hair. I will enroll in college too. Business administration, maybe. Learn how to build something legitimate for once in my life. We will be boring, normal, completely unremarkable. I do not think you could be unremarkable if you tried. Watch me. He kissed her forehead, and Maya felt something shift between them, something settling into place. I will be so normal it will be painful. I will complain about traffic and watch sports and argue about where to go for dinner. I will be the most aggressively ordinary man Seattle has ever seen. Kai cleared his throat. Boss, sorry, Lee Min-jun. There's a problem. Someone leaked that you cooperated with the police. Word is spreading through Dante's old network. They are calling you a traitor, putting bounties on your head. $500,000 to whoever brings them proof of your death. $1 million if they bring you in alive. Lee Min-jun's expression hardened, the mask of the killer sliding back into place so quickly it made Maya's breath catch. How long do we have? Hours, maybe. The first wave will be local talent. street-level enforcers looking for quick money. But the serious players will mobilize within 24 hours. They will come prepared, organized, and they will not stop until you are dead. Kai glanced at Maya, something apologetic in his eyes. Miss Brooks is a secondary target. They figure taking her out removes your motivation to keep running. Dead girlfriend means broken man means easier kill. They're wrong about that, Lee Min-jun said, his voice dropping to something lethal. A dead Maya means I stop running and start hunting. Means I burn their entire organization to ground and salt the earth where it stood. Means I remind them exactly why my father chose me to inherit his empire. Lee Min-jun, Maya started, but he cut her off. No, listen to me. I gave the police everything they needed to destroy Dante's network through legal channels. That was a civilized approach, the path to redemption you wanted for me. But if they come after you, if they threaten your life, I will show them the monster I have been trying to leave behind. I will make them regret ever speaking your name. Or, Kai interjected carefully, we could run. Right now, I have a plane fueled and ready at a private airfield 40 minutes from here. We could be in the air before anyone knows we have left. Put an ocean between us and Atlanta. Let the task force handle cleanup while we disappear. They will find us eventually. Men like that always do. Maybe. But every day we buy ourselves is another day the task force has to dismantle their operation. Another day their leadership fractures and their resources dwindle. Another day we get to live instead of just survive. Kai looked between them, and Maya saw something like hope in his scarred face. You gave me a second chance when you hired me, boss. Let me help give you one, too. Let me get you both out of here alive. Lee Min-jun turned to Maya, and she saw the war playing out behind his eyes. The part of him that wanted to stand and fight, to meet violence with overwhelming violence, to prove he was still the apex predator in this ecosystem. And the part of him that wanted to choose her, choose life, choose the possibility of something better than blood and darkness. What do you want to do? He asked her, and the fact that he was asking, that he was giving her a voice in this decision, felt more intimate than anything they had shared in bed. Maya thought about her mother, dead from preventable disease because she could not afford insulin. Thought about all the years she had spent invisible, powerless, watching other people control her fate. Thought about the moment she had chosen to save Lee Min-jun, the moment everything changed, the moment she had finally seized control of her own story. I want to live, she said firmly. I want to finish nursing school and help people and build a life that matters. I want to wake up next to you without wondering if today is the day someone kills us. I want boring and normal and safe. So yes, we run. We run until there is nowhere left to run, and then we find a way to make peace with whatever we left behind. Lee Min-jun kissed her hard and desperate, like she was the only solid thing in a world gone liquid. Then we run. Kai, get us to that plane. Now. The drive to the airfield was tense. Every car behind them potential threat. Every red light an opportunity for ambush. Lee Min-jun kept his gun in his lap, his eyes constantly scanning mirrors and intersections, his body coiled tight with readiness. Maya watched him. This man who was trying so hard to leave violence behind but could not quite shed the instincts that had kept him alive for 32 years. They were 10 minutes from the airfield when Kai's phone rang. He answered, listened for 30 seconds, and his face went pale. We have a problem. Big one. How big? Lee Min-jun demanded. Someone leaked our destination. There are 3 cars waiting at the airfield, armed personnel, professional grade. They knew we would run. They knew exactly where we would go. Kai's hands tightened on the steering wheel. It is a trap, boss. They are waiting to kill us the moment we arrive. Then we do not arrive. Change of plans. Where else can we go? Nowhere by air, not in Atlanta. Every private airfield will be watched by now. Commercial airport is suicide. Too many cameras. Too much security. Nowhere to run if they corner us. Kai glanced at Lee Min-jun in the rearview mirror. We need to go to ground. Find a safe house, wait them out, let the task force do their job. How long? Days, maybe weeks. However long it takes for the heat to die down and the bounty to lose its shine. Lee Min-jun looked at Maya, and she saw the calculation in his eyes, the tactical assessment of risks and resources. There is another option, one I swore I would never use. What option? My father had an emergency protocol, a place he set up for the family if everything fell apart. Secure location, supplies, weapons, cash. He made me memorize the location when I took over the business. Said it was the ultimate insurance policy, the ace in the hole if we ever needed to disappear completely. Why did you never mention this before? Kai asked. Because going there means accepting that everything my father feared might come true, that the empire could fail, that we might lose everything. Using that safe house feels like admitting defeat. Lee Min-jun's jaw tightened. But Maya's life is worth more than my pride. Kai, head north. Blue Ridge Mountains, 3 hours from here. I will navigate once we are closer. They drove in silence, leaving Atlanta behind, watching the city skyline shrink in the rearview mirror until it was just a smudge of light against the darkening sky. Maya dozed fitfully, her shoulder throbbing, her mind full of questions about the future that had no good answers. When she woke, they were deep in the mountains, on roads so narrow and winding that every turn felt like tempting gravity. Here, Lee Min-jun said finally, pointing to what looked like an unmarked dirt road. 2 miles in, then a left of the fallen oak. The safe house was not what Maya expected. She had pictured something rustic, a cabin in the woods. Instead, they found a modern structure built into mountainside, half underground, invisible from the main road. Solar panels on the roof, security cameras disguised as rocks, reinforced walls that could probably withstand a rocket attack. Your father did not mess around. Kai observed. My father survived 3 assassination attempts and 2 FBI investigations. He believed in redundancy and preparation. Lee Min-jun helped Maya out of the car, supporting her weight as they approached the house. The entry code changes monthly, based on an algorithm he created. If I calculated correctly, this month's code should be: the door clicked open and lights activated inside, revealing a space that was simultaneously fortress and home. Living area with comfortable furniture. Kitchen fully stocked with non-perishables. Bedrooms with actual beds instead of cots. An armory that made Kai whistle appreciatively. A communications room with equipment that looked military grade. We could stay here for months if we needed to, Lee Min-jun said, but he did not sound happy about it. Everything we need to survive a siege. My father's paranoia made manifest. Maya sank onto the couch, exhaustion hitting her like a physical force. How did he die? You said someone killed him, that you beat the killer to death. But you never said why someone wanted him dead. Lee Min-jun was quiet for a long moment, pouring himself a drink from the well-stocked bar. My father had a rule, never let betrayal go unanswered. One of his lieutenants got greedy, started skimming money, thought he could hide it. When my father found out, he did not just kill the man. He killed the man's wife, his children, his parents. Wiped out 3 generations to prove a point about loyalty. Maya felt sick. That is monstrous. That is who he was. The lieutenant's brother survived because he was overseas at the time. He spent 2 years planning revenge, working his way into my father's inner circle, waiting for the perfect moment. Then one night, he put a bullet in my father's head during a private meeting. Lee Min-jun drained his glass. I was in the next room. Heard the shot, came in, found my father dying. The killer tried to run. I stopped him. You beat him to death. I wanted him to suffer. I wanted him to feel every ounce of pain my father felt, multiplied by the years of planning, the betrayal, the violation of trust. I was not thinking about justice or morality. I was thinking about rage. He looked at her, and the guilt in his eyes was palpable. That is who I was, Maya. That is the person I am trying to leave behind. But that person is still inside me, still capable of terrible things if provoked. If they hurt you, that person will come back. And I do not know if I could control him. Maya stood, crossing to him despite the pain in her shoulder, taking his face in her hands. Then we make sure they do not hurt me. We stay here, stay safe, stay hidden. And when it is over, when the task force has done their job and the bounty has been lifted, we leave. We go to Seattle or Vancouver or somewhere no one knows our names. We build that boring, normal life. Together, you make it sound so simple. Maybe it is. Maybe we are the ones making it complicated. She kissed him softly, tasting whiskey and desperation. I love you, Lee Min-jun. I love the man you are trying to become, even if the man you are still scares me sometimes. We will figure this out. We have to. He pulled her close, and they stood there in the safe house his father had built, surrounded by weapons and supplies and the ghosts of past violence, holding each other like drowning people hold driftwood. Outside, night fell over the mountains, and somewhere in Atlanta, men with guns were hunting them, putting together plans and weapons in teams. But for this moment, they were safe. For this moment, they had each other. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough to survive what was coming 0.5 days in the mountain safe house. Felt like 5 years. Maya watched Lee Min-jun pace the underground fortress like a caged tiger, his dragon tattoo seeming to writhe with restless energy every time he passed the security monitors. Kai split his time between maintaining the perimeter and monitoring police channels, listening for news about the task force's progress against Dante's former organization. The walls pressing closer each day, the silence broken only by the hum of electronics and the occasional report of progress that never felt fast enough. On the 6th day, everything changed. Kai came running from the communications room, his face ashen. We have incoming. Multiple vehicles on the access road, heavily armed, moving with tactical precision. They found us. How? Lee Min-jun was on his feet instantly, all predator, no pretense of civilization. How did they find us? Only 3 people knew about this location, my father, me, and his head of security who died with him. Does it matter? Kai was already moving to the armory, pulling weapons, loading magazines with efficient brutality. They are here. 6 vehicles, probably 30 to 40 men. We are outnumbered and outgunned. Then we make every bullet count. Lee Min-jun turned to Maya, and the look in his eyes terrified her. This was not the man who talked about nursing school and normal lives. This was the killer his father had created, cold and efficient and absolutely lethal. There is an emergency tunnel. Leads half a mile down the mountain to a concealed exit. Kai will take you through it now. I am not leaving you. You are, and you're going to survive, and you're going to live the life we planned, even if I do not make it out of here. He grabbed her shoulders, hard enough to hurt. I need you to live, Maya. I need to know that saving me meant something, that this whole nightmare had a purpose. Promise me you will run. Promise me you will survive. Lee Min-jun promised me. His voice cracked, and she saw terror behind the rage, raw and overwhelming. I have killed 23 people, and I would kill 1,000 more to keep you safe. But I cannot do that if you are here. Please, Maya, please let me protect you one last time. The sound of gunfire outside made the decision for them. Kai grabbed Maya's good arm, pulling her toward a hidden door in the back bedroom. We go now, Miss Brooks. The tunnel is reinforced. They cannot follow us through, but we need to move before they breach the perimeter. Maya looked back at Lee Min-jun, memorizing his face, the dragon tattoo, the eyes that held so much violence and so much love. Do not die. Do not you dare die and leave me alone in this world. I will find you, he said, and it sounded like a vow. I will find you in Seattle, or hell, or heaven itself. This is not over. Then Kai was dragging her through the tunnel, a narrow passage carved through rock, lit by emergency lighting that cast everything in red. Behind them, the sounds of battle intensified, gunfire, explosions, shouting. Maya's tears mixed with sweat as she ran, her injured shoulder screaming protest, her heart shattering with every step that took her further from the man she loved. They emerged in a small clearing half a mile from the safe house, Kai immediately scanning for threats. There is a truck hidden in the brush. Keys in the ignition. I will get you to a bus station, give you cash and a burner phone. You disappear, understand? You become someone else until this is over. What about you? I am going back for him. He is my boss, my friend. I do not leave people behind. Kai pressed a thick envelope into her hands. $20,000. Fake ID in the name Emma Mitchell. Phone numbers for people who can help you disappear completely. Do not use your real name. Do not contact anyone from your old life. Do not do anything that could lead them to you. Kai, please bring him back to me. I will do everything I can. But Miss Brooks, you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that... He stopped, unable to finish the sentence. Just know that he loves you more than anything in this world. That has to count for something. Then he was gone, disappearing back into the tunnel, back into the violence. And Maya was alone in the mountains with an envelope full of money and a new identity and absolutely no idea how to live in a world where Lee Min-jun might not exist. She drove the truck on autopilot, following Kai's directions to a small town 2 hours away, buying a bus ticket to Charlotte in her new name, sitting in the back and staring out the window as Georgia passed by in a blur of trees and regret. Her phone, the burner Kai had given her, rang 3 hours into the bus ride. Unknown number. She almost did not answer, but something made her press accept. Maya. Lee Min-jun's voice, rough and exhausted but alive, gloriously alive. Maya, are you safe? Oh my God, you're okay. What happened? Where are you? Alive. Kai is alive. The safe house is not. We took out most of them, but the ones who survived are regrouping. This is not over. He sounded like he was moving, wind whipping through the connection. Where are you? Bus to Charlotte. Then I was going to figure out next steps from there. Kai gave me money and a fake ID. Said to disappear. Good. That is good. Listen to me carefully. There's a storage unit in Charlotte, number 237, at the East Side Self-Storage. Code is 1129, my father's birthday reversed. Inside you will find more money, more documents, everything you need to really disappear. Take it and go to Seattle like we planned. Enroll in nursing school under your new name. Become Emma Mitchell and live the life Maya Brooks deserved. What about you? What about us? Static crackle for a moment. And when Lee Min-jun spoke again, his voice was heavy with something that sounded like goodbye. I need to end this. Not by running, not by hiding. These people will never stop hunting us, unless I give them a reason to stop. Unless I make the cost of continuing so high that they decide we are not worth it. Lee Min-jun, no, we run together. We disappear together. That is the plan. Plans change. The man who attacked the safe house? His name is Victor Reyes, Dante's top lieutenant. He told me, very proudly while trying to kill me, that they have people looking for you in every city, every bus station, every airport. They will find you eventually, Maya, unless I remove their motivation to keep looking. What does that mean? It means I go back to Atlanta. It means I offer them a deal, one last meeting, neutral ground, where we settle this permanently. Either they accept that Dante's death was the end of our war, and they let you go, or I start killing them one by one until there's nobody left who wants revenge. That is suicide. No, that is negotiation backed by the credible threat of overwhelming violence. That is how my father built his empire, how he kept it for 3 decades. Sometimes you have to remind people why it is better to make peace than war. His voice softened. I am not the man I want to be yet, Maya, but I am still the man my father created when I need to be. And right now you need that man. I need you alive. I need you with me. I need. Her voice broke, and the tears came in earnest now, hot and desperate. Please do not do this. Please do not leave me. I am not leaving you. I am buying you a future. There is a difference. She heard sound of a car door, engine starting. Go to Seattle. Become a nurse. Save lives to balance out all the lives I took. And know that everything I do now, every risk I take, every monster I become, it is all for you. Because you saved me first, Maya Brooks. You saved me when I did not know I needed saving. I love you. I love you too. More than power, more than revenge, more than living. I will come back to you. That is a promise I intend to keep. The line went dead. Maya sat in the back of that bus, clutching a burner phone and crying silent tears while the other passengers pretended not to notice, and she realized that loving Lee Min-jun meant accepting that he would always choose to face danger rather than let it follow him. That his idea of protection involved walking back into hell, so she could stay in the light, That the man who had killed 23 people would probably kill 23 more if it meant keeping her safe. Charlotte passed in a blur. The storage unit contained exactly what it promised. $50,000 in cash, multiple IDs, a passport, documents that would let Emma Mitchell exist fully in the world. Maya took it all, bought a plane ticket to Seattle with cash, and tried not to think about Lee Min-jun driving back to Atlanta to face an army of people who wanted him dead. She rented a tiny apartment near the University of Washington, enrolled in nursing classes under her new name, and started building the life they had planned together. But every night, she slept with her phone beside her pillow, waiting for the call that would tell her if Lee Min-jun had survived his final negotiation, waiting to know if the man she loved would ever come back to her, or she would spend the rest of her life as Emma Mitchell, living a borrowed existence, haunted by the ghost of love that had burned too bright to survive. Days turned into weeks. The phone never rang. 6 months later, Maya, now Emma Mitchell, according to every official document, stood in a Seattle hospital wearing scrubs, doing clinical rounds as part of her nursing program. She had aced her entrance exams, earned scholarships, thrown herself into her studies with the kind of desperate focus that came from trying to outrun grief. Her apartment was small but clean, overlooking Puget Sound, and on clear days she could see the Olympic Mountains in the distance. It was a life she had dreamed of, the future she had fought for. IT felt empty without him. She had stopped checking her phone obsessively after the first month, stopped jumping at every unexpected sound, stopped believing that Lee Min-jun was coming back. The logical part of her brain knew that 6 months of silence meant he was probably dead, that his final negotiation had gone badly, that the empire had consumed him the way it consumed everyone who got too close. But she could not bring herself to mourn him completely, because that would mean accepting that the most intense love of her life had lasted less than 2 weeks before being ripped away. IT was raining when she left the hospital, the kind of Seattle drizzle that soaked through everything slowly. Maya pulled her jacket tighter and headed for the bus stop, too tired to care about getting wet. She almost did not see the figure waiting by the bench, who had walked right past, and a familiar voice had not stopped her cold. "The ocean suits you. You look happy here." Maya spun around, and there he was, Lee Min-jun, looking thinner and harder and more tired than she remembered, wearing jeans and a worn leather jacket that hid most of his dragon tattoo. He had a scar above his left eyebrow that had not been there before, and his eyes held shadows that went deeper than exhaustion. You are alive. You are here. I thought." She could not finish, could not force words past a lump in her throat. "I am sorry it took so long." The negotiation was complicated. He stepped closer, and she saw him hesitate, uncertain of his welcome. "I had to be sure they would never come for you. Had to make deals and threats and promises that took months to enforce. Had to become the monster one last time so thoroughly that even other monsters decided you were not worth the risk of angering me. What did you do? Things I will tell you about someday, when the nightmares have faded enough to speak them out loud. Things that proved I am still my father's son when it matters. Things that bought your safety with blood and terror." His hand reached out, trembling slightly, touching her face like he could not quite believe she was real. "But it worked, Maya. They let you go. The bounty is gone. The hunt is over. You are free to be Emma Mitchell or Maya Brooks or whoever you want to be, and nobody will come looking. I made sure of it. And you? Are you free?" I walked away, gave them everything they wanted, territory, contacts, money, power. Kept just enough to start over somewhere new. His smile was sad, weary. "I am nobody now. Just a guy named Mark Chin who is thinking about enrolling in community college. Maybe studying business, like I said I would. Maybe learning how to build something instead of destroy things." Maya launched herself at him, ignoring the pain in her still healing shoulder. Wrapping her arms around him and holding on like he might disappear, she let go. He held her back just as tightly, his face buried in her hair, and she felt him shake with silent sobs that he had probably been holding in for 6 months. "I miss you so much," she whispered against his chest. "Every day, every hour. I kept waiting for the phone to ring, kept hoping you would come, but I was so afraid you were dead. I almost was several times, but I promised I would find you. In Seattle or hell or heaven itself, remember? I always keep my promises. He pulled back enough to look at her, and the love in his eyes was so fierce it took her breath away. Can you forgive me? For leaving? For staying away so long? For all the terrible things I did to make sure you were safe? There is nothing to forgive. You protected me. You sacrificed everything to give me this life. Maya traced a new scar above his eyebrow. But you have to promise me something now. Anything. Promise me we are done running, done fighting, done living in the shadow of your father's empire. Promise me that marching is going to be boring and normal and alive for a very long time. I promise. No more violence unless someone threatens you directly, and even then, I will try talking first. His smile turned rueful. I have been practicing. Conflict resolution, anger management, all the things civilized people do instead of resorting to murder. It is surprisingly difficult. I will help you. We will figure out together. Together, he repeated, like it was a prayer. I like the sound of that. So what do you say, Emma Mitchell? Can a reformed gangster and a nursing student make this work? Well, Emma Mitchell could use a roommate to split rent. And she knows this guy who is really good at security systems, which is useful in a new city, and she thinks that boring and normal sounds pretty amazing right about now. Lee Min-jun, Mark. Kiss her then, soft and sweet and full of all the tomorrows they thought they had lost. Around them, Seattle rain fell in gentle sheets, washing away the blood and violence and terror of the past 6 months. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless and smiling, the world felt new in a way Maya had forgotten was possible. Come on, she said, taking his hand. Let me show you my apartment. It has an extra bedroom that would be perfect for you. And tomorrow we can go to the community college together. Figure out what classes you need. And maybe this weekend we can explore the city, find coffee shops and bookstores and all those normal things normal people do. That sounds perfect. Painfully, wonderfully, impossibly perfect. They walked through the rain together. Two people who had found each other in darkness and chosen to walk into the light. Behind them, Atlanta and its ghosts faded into memory. Ahead of them, Seattle waited with all its possibilities, nursing school and business classes and lazy Sunday mornings, and a life built on something other than blood and fear. Lee Min-jun's dragon tattoo was hidden beneath his jacket now, a reminder of who he had been that he would carry forever. But the man walking beside Maya was not the killer his father had created or the crime Lord Atlanta had known. He was Mark Chun, starting over, learning how to be human again one day at a time. And Maya Emma, whoever she chose to be, was going to help him figure out 0.6 months later. On a Saturday afternoon in their shared apartment, Maya finished her last nursing school exam while Lee Min-jun submitted his final business project. They celebrated with cheap wine and take-out Thai food, sitting on their couch watching the sunset paint Puget Sound in shades of gold and pink. I got a job offer, Maya said, curling against his side. Harbor View Medical Center. Trauma unit. They want me to start in 2 weeks. That is incredible. I am so proud of you. Lee Min-jun kissed the top of her head. I got an offer too. Small business consulting firm, entry-level position. It is not empire building, but it is honest work. Honest work is good. Honest work means nobody shoots at you. Definitely a selling point. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the day fade into night, and Maya thought about the woman she met a year ago, desperate, exhausted, serving drinks to criminals and dreaming of a better life. Thought about the split-second decision to save a dangerous man that had changed absolutely everything. Thought about how love sometimes meant walking into darkness together, and sometimes meant fighting your way back to the light. No regrets. Lee Min-jun asked quietly, like he could read her thoughts. Not even one. You! Just that I did not meet you sooner. That we wasted so many years living separate lives when we could have been living this one together. We have now. We have tomorrow. That is enough. And it was. The past would always be there, would always cast shadows on even their brightest days. But Maya and Lee Min-jun, Emma and Mark had fought too hard for their future to let the past define them. They had saved each other in every way that mattered, and now they were going to live the quiet, ordinary, beautiful life they had earned through blood and courage and love that refused to die. Outside, Seattle rain began to fall again, gentle and cleansing, inside their small apartment. Two people who survived hell held each other close and dreamed of all the boring, normal tomorrows stretching out ahead of them like a promise, finally fulfilled. S.O. That's the story. 3 seconds at. Became 3 weeks. 3 weeks that became 6 months. And 6 months that became forever. Now I need to know. Would you have written that warning? 3 seconds to decide. Save a killer or save yourself. What would you choose? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your truth. And here's what I really want to know. Did Maya make the right choice? Is Lee Min-jun really changing? Or is Mark-chin just a mask he's wearing? Is she safe with him? Or is she loving a monster who's one bad day away from becoming his father? Drop your theories below. If this story had you holding your breath, do 3 things right now. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Afro Korean Veil for more stories where love is the most dangerous choice you can make. And share this with someone who understands that sometimes the wrong decision is the only one worth making. What should I tell you next? Another impossible romance? A revenge story? You tell me, I'm listening. Thanks for taking this journey with me. I'll see you in the next one.